Good day, fellow mathematicians. Welcome back to our video. Today we're going to discuss a problem in the book Principle of Mathematical Analysis by Walter Rudin. This is found in the first chapter in the exercises. And let's get started. Welcome to and I just want to welcome you guys that ito yung first video natin in an attempt to answer some problems that are found in this book. Tinatawag yun ng mga mathematicians na baby Rudin because this is an introductory analysis book. And let's get started, shall we? Ngayon, sabi sa problem is that if R is rational, ibig sabihin R can be written ganito. If R is rational and R is not equal to 0 while the dog is barking and X is irrational, ibig sabihin X is irrational, ibig sabihin X is not rational, then prove that R plus X and Rx is rational. Okay? Now, how do we suppose and do that? Let's have a proof. Now, we know that we know that R is rational and X is irrational. Paano yung sulat? Ito yan. Okay. Since R is rational, then we can write R as R is equal to A over B. A over B where A and B are integers, B is not equal to 0 kasi yung fraction cannot have a 0 denominator and the GCD of A and B is equal to 1. What does this condition mean? Ibig sabihin yung A and B are integers. Kailangan integers siya. Yung denominator ng fraction mo cannot be equal to 0 and ano tong GCD of A and B is equal to 1? Ano yan? Ibig sabihin, this fraction is in its lowest terms. Ibig sabihin, irreducible ka na. Irreducible. Ibig sabihin, you are in its lowest terms. Lowest terms. Ano ang halimbawa ng mga fractions in lowest terms? Yung 2/3, yung 4 over 5, and so on. Okay, now let's delete this while the dog is barking. Now, let's prove this, shall we? Ngayon, ang una natin gustong i-prove ito, yung R plus X is irrational. Ngayon, assume for contradiction kasi this will be a proof of contradiction itong video na ito. This is actually proof by contradiction that kasi 'di ba ang assumption mo is R plus X is irrational. Therefore, we must prove that R plus X is irrational. Ibig sabihin, ay is rational. Nawawala ko doon sa focus kasi doon sa aso. Is rational. Okay? R plus X is rational. Kasi nakalagay sa condition mo is irrational. So kailangan ipo-prove natin siya and as we prove along the way, makakita tayo ng contradiction. Kasi ang contradiction na yun ay dahil sa assumption natin na ito. Kapag hindi siya ganito, ano siya? E di irrational. Okay? Ngayon, gagawin natin yan. Kung R plus X is rational, then this implies that we can write R plus X as a quotient, C over D, where C and D are integers, yung denominator na D is not equal to 0, and the GCD of C and D is equal to 1. Ibig sabihin, di ba, they are integers, the denominator is not equal to 0, and yung fraction na yun is irreducible. Ngayon, ang gawin mo, R plus X, what we'll do is that subtract R from both sides. Ano mangyayari? This implies that this is X is equal to C over D minus R. Eh, sino ba si R? R is actually this. This is the same R. So we can substitute the values A over B to that R. Kita niyo yun? Now, what we'll do is that this implies that X is equal to C over D minus R. Ay, wait lang. What minus R? A over B. And this can be written as, di ba, dB, and di ba, dB divided by D is B, multiplied by C is CB, minus dB divided by B is D, multiplied by A is AB, ay AD. Diba? Tama? AD. So, this is a fraction. Eh, di ibig sabihin, X is rational. Yun yung sinasabi. X is rational. Eh, ano yung contradiction? Sinabi natin from the beginning of the problem that X is irrational. X is irrational. Eh, napakita mo, si X daw ay rational. Diba? There's a contradiction. Ibig sabihin, we can write this symbol. This is a contradiction. Diba? This is a contradiction. This contradicts the fact that this contradicts the fact that X is irrational. Ang gulo ng Q, eh, no? Ganito. Ayan. This contradicts that X is irrational, therefore, mali yung assumption mo na ito. Ano ka? Si R plus X is irrational. Or pwede mo siya isulat as R plus X is irrational. Okay? Ayan yung una nating ano. And na-prove na natin yung una. And the second one is left for the reader to prove, though. Joke lang. I will be proving it too. Ngayon, ano pa ang susunod natin? Okay, ang goal mo is to prove that Rx naman is irrational. Ngayon, again, what we'll do is that similarly, while the dog is barking, assume for contradiction that Rx is indeed rational. Kasi ang pinuprove nga natin is that Rx is irrational. This is irrational. Tama? Yan ang pinuprove natin. So, let's assume na yung otherwise, na Rx is rational. Ngayon, how do we suppose and do that? If Rx is rational, then we can write Rx as E over F. E over F where E and F are integers. Yung F is not equal to 0 and the GCD of E and F is equal to 1. Ibig sabihin, they are fractions with integers. Yung numerator and denominator, yung denominator cannot be equal to 0 and this fraction is in its lowest terms. Yan yung GCD ng EF is equal to 1. Okay? Ngayon, anong gagawin natin? We can plug in the value of R. Sino ba si R? Si R is A over B. R is A over B. Eh, may R ka dito. You can substitute the value of R into this R. Tama ba? While the dog is barking, let's substitute the value of R to get, this implies that R, A over B, X is equal to E over F. Ngayon, divide both sides by A over B, we'll get, this implies that X is equal to E over F all over A over B. Eh, di ba kapag division ka, pwede mo siyang gawin E over F multiplied by the reciprocal of the denominator, which is B over A, which is just equal to EB over, ba't ganyan? EB over AF, or BE is equal to AF. And ibig sabihin, BE over AF is a fraction. So X is a rational number. Yun yung sinasabi. X is a rational number. Eh di ba yung assumption mo, pinaka-given mo is that X is irrational. Ano na naman nagkaroon? Say it with me. A contradiction. Very good. There is a contradiction once more. Ano mangyayari? This is a contradiction. Okay, so ibig sabihin, this contradicts the fact that X is irrational. X is irrational. Ganito pala symbol na irrational, ha? Tiyatanggal mo yung R dun sa set Q, yung rational. Ibig sabihin, if X is irrational, this is a contradiction. Ano yung nagkamali? Yung initial assumption mo na ito. Kung hindi siya Rx is rational, ano siya? It is, therefore, Rx is indeed irrational. And as the dog is barking, therefore Rx is irrational. And this is the end of proof kasi we have proven that, and let's change the color, we have proven that Rx is rational and Rx is irrational and R plus X is irrational and Rx is irrational as requested by the problem. Okay, now let's zoom out a little bit to show you the span of what we have proven. Okay, so that's pretty much it, guys. I hope you learned something today. I hope that you have appreciated this introductory problem about a proof of contradiction. And in the next meeting, we will be discussing more problems that is found in the book Principle of Mathematical Analysis by Walter Rudin. And until then, mathematicians, keep safe and have a great day. Goodbye now.